Let me tell you a little secret. If you're feeling stuck, lost, or like you're way behind where you thought you'd be by now, if you're scared it's too late to start over, you are not alone. I've been chasing my dreams in LA for almost a decade, and honestly, I'm nowhere near where I thought I'd be by now. After going through the breakup, quitting my job as a spicy dancer, and an identity crisis as I'm staring down 30, it feels like now or never to figure out what the actual I'm doing, and who I'm doing it for. If we haven't met yet, my name is Jenna. I'm a writer, I'm a filmmaker. I've lived in Los Angeles for the past 8 years, but now I'm living out of a storage unit, going through my quarter-life crisis. We'll get there in a minute. My plan was in early 2025 to move across the country with my partner and get engaged, but in late 2024, we broke up, and that was devastating. And this already had come after the hardest chapter of my life. In mid-2023, I went through something that I still can't legally talk about fully. Long story short is that myself and people that I love and care about were scammed and betrayed by someone within the community. It impacted my work and my trust and my sense of safety, all in massive ways. Suddenly, at the end of 2024, when things finally calmed down with that, my life collapses again with my breakup. I had this whole plan to start this life that now doesn't exist, and I was left kind of with this gaping hole of like, well, what now? It really took me hitting rock bottom to realize that no one was coming to save me, no one that I have been, living for in past versions of my life, and I was the only one who could change my life and rebuild my dream life. I just really feel like I have spent so much of my 20s living for other people, whether that's performing or people pleasing or trying to just like survive in LA because I thought that I had to be there just to survive and continue to be miserable. I don't know. So this is my year to come back to myself. I'm giving myself 1 year, just one messy, sacred, creative year to try to rebuild my dream life. So you might be wondering why I'm doing this now, starting in the middle of the year, and why I'm doing it for specifically a year. When I was down bad, in a moment of like, oh my God, universe, please, I was like, I need to consult the stars. I need to look at my chart, not to have something to like fix me, but just to have any semblance of hope or explanation. Whether you buy into this or not, I think it can be helpful. So I'm currently in my Saturn return, which clears out everything that isn't aligning, whether you want it to or not. And my Saturn return ends early 2026. Around mid-2026, Jupiter and Uranus hit my midheaven. It's major career breakthrough energy. It's visibility, it's opportunity to step into your true, real path that you have been building towards. And the translation is that if I've been putting in the work, the universe meets me halfway. If I've been putting in the work. The stars are saying I'm not behind, I'm just early. So this is the time to plant the seeds and to design the foundation of my aligned life so that there's actually something to step into. But outside of the astrology of it all, I turned 28 this year. I'm 28 and a half. So that means a year from now, when I complete this challenge, I will be 29 and a half. And I really want to go into turning 30 with grace and with clarity and with just feeling aligned and like I'm allowing myself to live up to my own potential. This isn't some 90-day glow up. This is a slow, spiritual, creative realignment. So what can you expect from me? You can expect new videos every single week. I will be documenting it all, which is really scary because I'm like, what if I fail? And all of you see that. I don't want to let you down, and I definitely don't want to let myself down. So if you're going through something similar and you are in your own reset era, feeling tender, chaotic, hopeful, definitely subscribe. Okay, so what exactly do I mean when I say dream life, and how do we measure progress? Let's look at my slideshow. 1 year to create my dream life. And I really love this quote by Brianna Weiss that says, "The cost of your new life is your old one." And I think that just really rings true for me because sometimes it's like, ooh, there's really bad growing pains and things suck and they hurt, and that's the cost, is your old life and the comfort of all of that. I have 5 different categories for the areas I'm going to be focusing on, and they are health, art and creativity, lifestyle, self-expression, and spirit/spirituality. Okay, so breaking these down into more tangible goals, I am reclaiming my health. I think I have neglected it for a long time, and being kind of a creative person, sometimes I feel so in my mind and not in my body. So a big kind of general focus for me is feeling more embodied, more present, and really focusing on my body. I think I'm noticing because I'm traveling, like there are things that I'm doing that I'm like, wow, this is really fun to get to go hike somewhere. and do kind of physically challenging things, and I want to be able to do that for a very long time. It's about coming home to my body. So first, I want to deepen my yoga practice. I want to be more flexible in general, and with yoga, I really want to learn more. I would really like to do my yoga teacher training certification, really just because I want to do like volunteer type offerings with it, and that's part of my journey of becoming more embodied. I also want to focus on working out for health and not aesthetics, not doing punishing workouts just because that's what people say you should do to do XYZ, lose XYZ, gain XYZ. So I really want to do workouts that make me feel alive, that make me feel healthy, that are focused on like cardiovascular health, particularly. I know that I have like a family history of stuff like that, and so, nearing 30, I want to be a little better about being preventative about things like that. I also want to cook at home more. A big thing that pushed me to do a lot of takeout was being burnt out and working so many hours. I really was not cooking really at all before I left Los Angeles, and now having been traveling and eating, at restaurants and stuff for months now, I'm like really excited for the first time, honestly, to cook for myself. I want to have more whole foods, I want to have more protein, I want to have more fiber. Especially traveling, I feel like I'm just not really getting a balanced diet a lot of times, so I'm really excited to lean into that more. I'm also prioritizing nervous system regulation and learning a lot about that, having gentle routines, boundaries with being overstimulated. I'm getting a lot better at having like less screen time, which I think is in there, time offline. Exploring somatic healing with breath work, EFT tapping, intuitive movement. I really want to just, be more embodied. I also want to work on my health anxiety, and they have these like Prenuvo scans that are like these full body scans that are $2,000 or something like that, and I want to get one because I think it would give me peace of mind. And you could say, no, it'll give you worse health anxiety, but and because I've been traveling, I've like missed some of my checkups, and so I want to do that as well. Second, I'm reclaiming my creativity. I want to make my creative work my full-time job. I have been working as a stripper for my full-time job income on and off for the past 9 years, and I'm tired. I'm burnt out, and I want to make my work align with my passions. So that includes finishing what I start. I have a lot of ideas. I start a lot of things, but I don't finish a lot of things. So I want to finish the screenplays and the poems and the projects I've been scared to kind of go back to. I also want to focus on making space for mess and not, having a need for every idea to be perfect upon conception, because that's just not realistic. I want to write every single day, even if it's 5 words in the day. I want to write. I want to reconnect with my poetry. For some reason, I was like, I can't do that kind of writing, and really fell out of it, and I've been getting into it more lately since I've been traveling, and it just feels really good. And so I want to write with poetry and with everything, for truth and not performance. I also want to launch my Substack, Hot Girls Cry in the Club, which is kind of a continuation of my poetry and like writing project outside of just film and TV. I want to kind of redefine what success even looks like, and releasing the pressure to be at a certain point in my career where I'm not. I don't know if it's just the astrology reading that's like, oh yeah, 2026 is your year, but I'm feeling just like a little ease of this idea that, oh my god, I'm so behind or something. I want to reconnect with my filmmaker identity outside of the algorithm or external validation. If you know me, you know that I have a YouTube channel with over 500,000 subscribers on it, and I was making exclusively like queer women short films, and they kind of just got into a bad algorithm of like girls kissing is how people found my content. And I also was kind of shaped by that, and not the kinds of things I would make, but I was like, well, I can only make queer women like discovery content, and because that's what the algorithm likes, and I want to move away from that and make what I want to make, hence why we're here. And then I also, by the end of this 1 year, I want to have the feature script that I want to do as my directorial debut. I'm reclaiming my lifestyle. No more survival living. I just realized I had to break out of the cycle of working at the club all day to make enough money to pay my rent and to be in LA to work at the club. Like, it was just a cycle of only making enough money to survive and to live. And that's just not aligned for me, because then what am I doing there? I'm there to make art and to make a living off of my art. No more just surviving. We're going to thrive, and we're going to do that by spending more time with people who see me, deepening friendships, building creative community. I got a little bit isolated because I was in a long-distance relationship for 3.5 years, And that and just like everything else that I had going on the past couple of years, I haven't felt fully like present socially, especially in Los Angeles. I want to build a lifestyle around my passions, not just like squeezing in time for them, but structuring my days, my decisions, the kinds of events that I go to, things like that. Like I said, I want to quit stripping as my main income, closing that chapter with gratitude and care. Maybe I'll do it for like extra savings or vacation money or something like that, but not main income. I want to travel with intention. I want to explore Southeast Asia. I'm exploring Central America right now. Not using this as like escapism, but to expand my horizons, my creativity, my storytelling, my identity, my connection with like the natural world and other people, like all of that kind of is intertwined. And I also want to visit 30 countries before I'm 30. I want to live nomadically for now, not have a lease, no tying myself down to a particular city unless I have a reason, like a job offer in LA, obviously. Hire me in your writer's rooms and I'll be there. I want to learn to live more sustainably, practice more eco-conscious lifestyle, learn more about climate justice, aligning my values with my day-to-day habits in a stronger way. And I just want to do more. And along with that, I want to take a class in environmentalism. Oh, these kind of got messed up, but yeah, I want to take a class in environmentalism. And then financially, lifestyle-wise, I want to clear my credit cards, stop living month to month, and have a savings account. And generally, I just want to make space for softness, slowness, security without shame. Because sometimes, in the hustle culture grind of the world, you can feel shame for those things, and I don't want to. Okay, I'm reclaiming my self-expression. How I show up is part of the story I'm telling. I have struggled with this for a really long time. It kind of also falls in with not feeling embodied. So I want to redo my wardrobe and just kind of align my appearance with how I feel on the inside. Part of that is getting the tattoos I've been dreaming about. I did that a little bit before leaving LA. I might have to reconsider this in terms of finances. But even just with these tattoos, I already just feel like so much more myself in a way. And then it shows on the outside. And so I want to find other ways other than just tattoos, but in my clothes, jewelry, my hair. I want to release shame around being seen. That's kind of also why I haven't been posting on like my main YouTube channel and just on social media in general. I've been afraid to be seen, and I think it's because I've felt unsure about even how I want to show up. And so now that I'm like understanding better how I want to show up, I want to release the fear of being seen as that, if that makes sense. I want to practice on learning how I've been trained to shrink or perform in public. People-pleasing days are over. I also want to expand my vocabulary so that when I talk, I have more and better words and when I write, I have better words and to describe how I'm feeling and all those things. I don't know. I just love when people know a lot of cool words. And I just say like a lot in my sentences, and I want to stop doing that also. And last but certainly not least, probably most importantly, I am reclaiming my spirituality. I find God everywhere. I want to spend more time connecting with my higher power, Spirit, Gaia, Mother Nature, kind of call her different names. And I do that a lot by hiking, being in the ocean, being barefoot, laying in the grass, remembering generally that I am not separate from the world, but I am the world. So connecting with like animals, traveling, what I'm doing right now, I have never felt more connected with like Mother Nature in that sense. I want to create a deeper prayer practice, building rituals that feel good to me and like how I connect with my higher power more intentionally. I want to meditate more consistently. I do it in the mornings pretty much every day, but I want to make sure it's like really, really consistent. And I also want to like figure out how to meditate for longer because I get like, I'm just not good at it. Maybe there isn't such thing as good at it, but like, I don't know. I want to practice more with that. I want to read one book about spirituality every month. I really want to go on a silent retreat, and I think the silent retreat that I want to go on is also kind of like an intro to Buddhism situation in Nepal. And I think I could really benefit from that as someone who loves to yap. A silent retreat would be torturous for me, but I think that's the point. I also want to pay closer attention to signs, synchronicities, and winks from the universe and letting intuition guide me instead of fear. I'm a firm believer in, whatever you look for, you will find. And I think that's true with like the synchronicities. Like even lately, And there's this heron that started like meditating with me on the dock in the morning, and they're seen as like a spiritual sign, and I talked about that in one of my videos. And I'm finding angel numbers everywhere when I like am asking my higher power like for guidance and for signs and stuff. I'm finding them. Similarly, if I look for things to be afraid of and terrified of and like simmer in fear, I also find more of that. I want to use tarot and journaling and intuition and spiritual tools for guidance and not for trying to have a sense of control over my life. I think like surrender and surrendering control is also kind of a big part of this journey. I'm a control freak, and up until now I've kind of had a path of knowing what was happening in my future. Like I knew I was moving in with my partner and we were getting married, and that this was the path for pretty much the rest of our life was like mapped out in a certain sense. And I loved having that control. Like prior to, like, it's always been orchestrating that control, but since that disappeared, like I have no control, and so I had to kind of admit that and learn how to be more comfortable in that. Like I've never been in a less like planned time of my life. Like I'm literally just in Nicaragua and I don't have even plane tickets to go home, and I've just never had such a lack of a plan and control, and I'm really finding the beauty and the importance in that. And then also one that I meant to put on there is I want to celebrate the Sabbats, the pagan holidays, and that is really interconnected with nature, and kind of just like rituals is a big theme in this. Rituals of how I connect to other people in like a spiritual sense and in spiritual spaces. I'm also sober, and maintaining my sobriety is a big piece of this as well. I'm almost 4 years sober, but a big way that I kind of connect to like my higher power and other people is also through going to AA meetings and like helping other people who are getting sober, and kind of being in that kind of community. And so that I also want to add. I think also part of it is that it's really scary to kind of voice all of these goals publicly and tell you, because it's, accountability. And if I don't do it, if I don't pull through, then I'm a liar, I mean, obviously within the things I can control. And I want to be a person who means what I say, who can set a goal and stick to it and finish it, and that's literally one of my goals. And I don't want to let you guys down. And I sure as hell don't want to let myself down. So if you guys are still watching, thank you so much for being here. I'm genuinely so excited about feeling so aligned with this new content and this channel. So if you relate to any of this, if you're feeling stuck, if you're also starting over or thinking about it, or if you just like watching someone else take the leap first, be sure to subscribe.